Welcome back to Next Tech Gem. Today I've got an interesting tutorial that will take your web content to the next level. Ever wondered how to convert your website into a native Android or iOS app? Well, you are in the right place. In this step-by-step guide, I'll walk you through how to convert your website into a functional mobile app using Flutter. Whether you are a web developer looking to expand your reach or just curious about app development, then this tutorial is for you. Before we dive in, be sure to hit the subscribe button below for more updates on app development.
So to convert your website into an app, so you need to make sure you have Flutter installed on your operating system. If this is your first time working with Flutter, so you can go to the Flutter website, which is docs.flutter.dev/get-started/install. So on the documentation, you will find the different operating system which you are installing Flutter. So we have Windows, Mac, Linux, and Chrome OS. So if you are using Windows like mine, you click on Windows and then you follow the instructions. Then after installing Flutter, so we need to set up our app for development. So if you are using Visual Studio like mine, and you can find the instruction on docs.flutter.dev/tools/vscode. So here you can see, and the instructions here are also similar to other code editor or IDE. So let's get started. If we scroll down here, we will find the detailed instruction on how to create a new project. So here you can see, to create a new Flutter project from the Flutter starter app template. So you go to view and then you have this. So let's go over to Visual Studio Code. So here I've opened up my Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to click and hold Ctrl Shift and P. So if you are using Mac, this should be Command instead of Control. And then I'm going to select Flutter New Project. So click on Flutter New Project. And then it's going to ask you, do you want to install the application, empty application, skeleton application, module, package, and plugin? So I want to install a complete Flutter app. So I'll click on application. And here I have a folder called Flutter project. So I'm just going to select this folder. You can see I have other different Flutter app I've created. So I'm just going to select a folder to create the project. So select, and then I'm going to give a name to my project. So let's just call this web app. So let's call that web app. Then I'm going to hit enter. And I'll wait for the installation to finish. Make sure you have good internet connection and then wait for the installation to finish. And here we go. So here we have a starter app. So I'm just going to remove all of the code in the main.dat. So you can see main.dat. So I'm going to remove all of this. Good. So here we have material.dat package imported, and this is essential for creating the Flutter user interface UI component. So next we are going to import another package called WebView, and this provides the WebView functionality which we need for displaying a website within an app. But before we import that, we need to first install the package. So if we open up our browser and then we navigate to pub.dev/packages/webview.flutter. So once you are here, you will see the WebView Flutter package. So currently we have 4.4.1 version as at the time of making this video. You can see published 2 days ago. So right here, if we go to the installation, we need an SDK of 19 and above. And if we scroll down, here we are asked to add the WebView Flutter as a dependency in our prospect.yaml file. So where can we find a prospect.yaml file? So if we go back to our app on the root directory, so we can see prospect.yaml file. So if I click on it and scroll down, so this is where we can add dependencies. So let's go back to the documentation of WebView, and if we navigate to installing, so here we have the instruction of how to use the package. So we are asked to run this command simply by going to our terminal and then paste that command right here. So I'm not going to run that command. So what I will do, I'll simply copy this. So WebView underscore Flutter. So I'm going to copy this, and then I will go back to my prospect.yaml file, and then I'm going to paste that right here. So once that is done, I'm going to save the file, and this is going to get the dependencies for us. So next, if we go back to the documentation, and after that we have to import this. So we have to copy this, and this will be imported. So the reason why we're having an error is because we have a pub get failed. So there was a timeout. So if we go back to our prospect.yaml file, so let's just remove the WebView Flutter. So if we save that file, and then let's go back to our main.dat. If we hover on this and then go to quick fix, and here you can say add WebView Flutter dependencies. So you can just click on that, and then this will run Flutter pub add WebView Flutter, and this is the same thing we have on the documentation. So let's wait for this to finish. So now that we have imported a WebView Flutter dependency, the next thing, we are going to create our main function. And the main function is the entry point of the Flutter app. So I'm going to say void main, just like this. And this is going to call the run app method, const, and let's call this my app. So this is going to start the Flutter application with the root widget being an instance of my app. So we're going to create a stateless widget to represent the root of our application. So to create a stateless widget, I'm just going to type STL, which stands for stateless, and then I'm going to hit tab, and this is going to be my app. So just like this. So in the build method, I'm going to return a material app widget. So return material app widget. So just like this. And the material app widget will set up the basic app structure, including the title and the theme, and also the home property. So we're going to give it a title. So let's say title. So we want to make sure that this is material app. The typo. So it's going to return the title widget. Let's call this Flutter demo. So let's just call it Flutter demo, comma, and then the next thing is the theme, and this is a theme data, and in the theme data we're going to say primary swatch, we'll say colors, and we can say amber. So you can choose blue or whatever color you want. And then after the theme data, we're going to pass in the home property. This home property will set an instance of a WebView demo, which will be the initial screen of our app. The initial screen of our app, so I'll say const const, and let's call this WebView demo. So next we are going to create, why we are seeing this error is because we have not created a class. So we are going to create a stateful widget of the WebView demo. So we are going to create a stateful widget. So STF, which stands for stateful widget, and then we're going to call it WebView demo. So something like this. So basically the WebView demo is a stateful widget, and it is used to create the web view within our app. Then we'll have our create state method, which return an instance of the WebView state. Notice we have an underscore, which indicates that this is a private class used only within this file. And here we have the underscore WebView demo state, which is the state class for the WebView demo widget. So here is the main thing. So here I'm going to say WebView controller is equal to controller equal to WebView controller. Then I'm going to say override, and then void init state. Then in the init state method, we initialize a WebView controller named controller. So in the init state method, we initialize a WebView controller named controller, and this controller will be used to manage the WebView. So we'll say super.init state, and then controller. You can basically find this in the documentation. So if we go to the documentation and then the readme, and then if we scroll down, so here you can see the controller, which is equal to WebView. So we have controller, then dot, then we call set JavaScript mode dot unrestricted, so just like this. And then we set the background color, so background color call const, and then we'll say color, and we're going to pass in 0x000. So next we are going to set the navigation delegate. We will say navigation delegate, and here we can define how the page handles loading events such as progress, page starts, and page finish. So let's start with on progress. So we're going to pass it to be empty for now, and then we can set the on page started. So on the on page started, you can specify also empty, and then on page finish, also set this to be empty. So make sure you close that with a semicolon, and then we'll configure the load request. And then here we are going to pass in URI.pass, so then like this. Then here we can pass in the URL we want. So I have a website which I want to convert. I think that is ppchronicles.com, and here we go. So I'm just going to copy this, Ctrl+C, and then I'll go back to that and then paste it here. So make sure that it's surrounded by quotes. So next we are going to return a scaffold. So I'm going to return a scaffold. and I'll set the background color, and this is going to be colors, and let's say colors dot white. Okay, and after that I'm going to set the app bar, and this will be app bar, and within the app bar then I'm going to set the title of our app bar. So this will be a const, and then the text widget, and I'm going to call this PP Chronicles. After the app bar, I'm going to return the body, and this is going to be WebView, and this will be controller, just like this. So the WebView widget is the main content of the app, whose takes controller that we initialized earlier. So the WebView will display the website specified in the load request method. So here is the load request method. So we have some few errors we need to fix. This is a class, so we have to put that parenthesis right there. So let's check if we still have errors. So in my app, we also need to include a class because it's a class. So just like this. And then on the JavaScript mode, if we go to quick fix, so this error, we need to get rid of this semicolon, and then let's fix the other web view. So here we are still having the method web view is not defined for the type underscore this. So in order to fix that, let's go to the documentation. So here we go, passing the controller to a WebView widget. So based on the recent version, the WebView has been replaced with WebView widget. So if I copy this, and then let's go back to this, and then paste that. And here we go. All errors has been fixed. So now we can now test our app if everything is working. So I have a physical device, so I'm going to use a physical device to test this. So yours might be different. Yours might be through web or through an emulator. So currently you can see we have no device connected. So I'm going to connect a device right now. So I'm going to minimize this so I can bring in my device to the screen. And here we go. So I have my device on the screen. So I'm just going to position it properly. Okay, the next thing you have to do is to set the correct minimum SDK version. You go to Android app and build.gradle, and you have to set your minimum SDK to 19. So let's go to Android. So Android app and then build.gradle. You're going to scroll down, and then here you see default configuration, the minimum SDK. So we have to remove this and then put that to be 19. Save the file. So let's go back to our main.dat, and then I'm going to main.dat file, then right click, and I'm going to run this without debugging. I'm going to wait for my app to launch. We don't have to create a variable for this, so make sure that the JavaScript mode unrestricted has to be encapsulator, so we can save that. And here we got some few errors. So here we have unrestricted. So let's go back to the documentation. So we want to make sure that it is spelled correctly. Let's save it. And here we go. we have successfully converted our website into an Android app. Thank you for watching, and I would love to see you in the next video.